Here's a bunch of small clamps that were in the box. These two are made in the USA. These two little blue ones here are made in Korea. No, I don't see a lot of clamps coming out of Korea. And this one here is unmarked. And then these are all the parallels that I ended up getting. These were actually off to the side of the box. There was some other stuff in the cardboard box on the side that he had taken out to ease the weight. These parallels right here were part of the deal. They got this nice little holder. I'm hoping these are brand name. This box that they're in is for, it says 180-905 square head, center head, protractor, and blade. This is Mitutoyo, I think, which I'm going to show you the blades that the Mitutoyo blade and head that I got, but it's missing some pieces. And again, probably in that other box I didn't end up seeing. But let's see what these are. So these are just a pair of really nice big parallels, unmarked. Here we go. This is Starrett 384. All right, things are looking up, as is that one. All right, so this is a pair of 384s. This is a pair of 384s. This is a odd 384. Oh no, that's not even Starrett. This is a pair of Starretts right here, as is this. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs of Starrett 384s. These are odd, non-Starrett. These are also non-Starrett, non-Starrett, non-Starrett. Okay. So all of these are Starrett, and all of these are other. And these big long ones are also other. All right, still a nice assortment of parallels. All right, this is the rest of the stuff, what's in this box, and then all of these blades right here. So again, I mentioned that there was a Kennedy riser that he hadn't brought with him, and so I have no idea what was in the Kennedy riser, but if I had to venture a guess, I would say for sure there's probably a Starrett combination square head, and maybe even a protractor and a center, one of these centering tool. The reason why I suspect that is because of all of these Starrett blades that I found. This is a really nice 24-inch satin chrome Starrett blade. And this is a Starrett 18-inch blade. This is a Mitutoyo. This is a Miller's Falls. 2 Miller's Falls. Okay, so this is interesting. I have not 1, not 2, but 7 12-inch Miller's Falls scales. This is a 12-inch Proto combination square blade with no head. This is a 18-inch Miller's Falls. I bet you this is actually pretty hard to come by. And this is a General Hardware 12-inch scale, a narrow one. And then this is a Mitutoyo 12-inch, and this is the only accessory I found in all of the drawers for any of these blades was this center head, which is clearly marked Mitutoyo. So this is going to go on here. This is a nice trammel point set, which I think was just made by some industrious individual. So if this was a Starrett one, it would be flat on one side, so that when you tighten these down, they lock in perpendicular or in alignment with each other. These just kind of can kind of be set up misaligned to each other like that. But it's still kind of a neat little thing. These right here I spotted and immediately factored these in to my purchase price that I offered for the whole lot here, because I knew that these were really special. So these are Weber angle blocks. So these are like precision gauge blocks, but they're angle blocks. So I don't know if I can get that to actually show them. So I believe these say Crow blocks on them, C-R-O-B-L-O-X, Weber. This one's got a little bit of stuff on it that'll clean up pretty easily. So that's a 5 degree. Here's a 15 degree, and it's on top of a 30-minute. It's on top of a 30-minute block. So for those of you who don't know, if you take 1 degree and you split it into 60 little tiny wedges, each one of those wedges is a minute. If you take one of those tiny minute wedges and split that into 60 little tinier slices, those would be seconds. So if you want to get really accurate with the measurements of degrees, you add minutes and seconds to it. And so we've got a couple of 1 second blocks here, a 3 degree block, like I said, 5 degree, 15 degree, 30 minute, and then a 30 degree. Unfortunately, the 30 degree has some damage. You see the big chunk missing right here, and that's because these are hardened blocks, so they're very brittle. So you don't want to drop them or bang them onto something. So I really don't know what the value on these is going to be, because there aren't any that have sold on eBay recently, and there aren't any currently listed on eBay. I have been able to find online some listings for the complete sets, but that doesn't mean anything. This isn't a complete set, and furthermore, you know, who knows whether or not that's even a fair price that they're selling this for. So it's not really a good indication of a used item. This right here is all key stock. This particular one is even branded Make a Key, made in the USA. So this is, you know, if you have a shaft with a groove on it, and then you would cut a piece of this key stock of the correct length to go in the groove, and it locks the pulley in position, keeps the pulley from spinning on the shaft. And so there was a bunch of this. I figured, no point in leaving it there. I'll find a use for it eventually, or actually I got more than enough here. I could probably sell some of it off. So these are the little like scriber or pick tools. These are actually genuine LS Starrett, and this one's a Lufkin. This is just a Norton sharpening stone. It's an India combination stone, bench stone, well used. These are all the small scales that I found in the drawers. That's actually a nice little combination square gauge. That's actually a nice combination square blade right there, a little 4-inch Starrett one. Wish I had the head for that. It's in a Starrett pouch. Yep, that's a nice Starrett satin chrome 6-inch scale, brown and sharp. This pouch says Lufkin, but it's actually got a bunch of Starretts in it. Matter of fact, they're all Starretts. This is a nice Starrett blade for a Starrett bevel protractor. So lots of times this will go missing in these sets. So I might have one of these now that's missing this. That makes that a nice find. This is a nice Starrett taper gauge, number 270. That's actually a pricey little tool right there. So it's called a taper gauge, but it doesn't measure taper. It measures thickness. The idea is, as you insert this into a groove, you take the measurement right off of here, and it tells you the width of the groove. Here's a couple of end mills. Just the regular 2-flute single-ended end mill made in Poland. Here's another one. These are new and never used. You can tell they still have that sticky coating on them. Alright, coming down to the end here. Here's a nice little set of Starrett small hole gauges. Complete set of 829s hole gauges. This is actually a set of rods for a depth micrometer that wasn't in here. So, and they don't fit the depth micrometer that was in here. Here's a lonely Starrett pin vise. It was the only one in there, I think. unless there was some earlier on that I forgot about already. Here's a nice little Starrett scriber, turned around for my safety. Here's a bunch of Starrett hole gauges, and looks like we got 1, 2, 3, we got 7. I think these are usually 6 in a set, so maybe there's an extra one here, a double. Yeah. Oh, actually, that one's just. Oh, wait a minute. I think I saw the part to that. So I think that's a complete set there, and I think this is an extra one. But actually, I bet you that's what this is. Yep. Alright. These are all of the edge finders. These weren't all in this box. I put them in here to keep track of them. But that's a new tool edge finder. There's a brand on that one. There's a Starrett 827 in its pouch. Here's a unmarked. There's a General 263, and here is a General Wiggler without any of the accessories. I didn't see them anywhere in there. This is the only Starrett adjustable parallel I found in the whole place, and this looks like it might have even been the original box for it, but no lid. This is actually from a, I'm pretty sure this is from a Bridgeport boring head. I think this is a holder for Bridgeport, for cutting tool and a Bridgeport boring head. Here's a Pratt & Whitney 1-inch standard, micrometer standard. This is a nice little find right here. This is the Starrett, yes. Oh, actually this might not be a Starrett one now that I'm looking at it. I don't see, it's not marked. But this is a drill point gauge. This slides onto a 6-inch scale. It's a handy little thing to have. Here's a straight edge that somebody made, unmarked, other than they're engraved with their name. Here's another taper gauge, Starrett. This is a 269A. This one has several different blades on it. Again, this is actually, you can use this to measure the diameter of holes. These are all the little various thread pitch gauges that I ended up finding in here. There's a Starrett number 40. Here's a Goodell Pratt number 446. There's a Brown & Sharp. And this is a little Starrett radius gauge set, or fillet set. There's a couple of just random mandrels. So these have a very slight taper to them, so you can press these into a gear blank, and then you can support the gear blank between centers and do your operations on it or whatever. This might be an accessory for that old Starrett surface gauge, the really long rectangular one. This is kind of neat. I found in there. Somebody made this thing. It's like a little mini set of parallels, but they're all. Or it's more like packings, I think, for a vise. So they put them all on this rod, but you can just pull them off. They just slide off, I think. Or at least the ones on this end were falling off. But the idea being that depending on what size you needed to put in your vise to raise a part up, you could just flip the ones you weren't using out of the way, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, thought that was kind of neat. Here's some stock for grinding your own tools, and there's more of that in here. That's pretty much just about everything here. Alright, so we're getting near the end here. Just going to go through real quick and just show you some of these. These are interesting little lathe dogs, I think. These are lathe dogs. Here's a 1-inch standard for a, that's made in Japan. That's going to be Mitutoyo. Yeah, that's a Mitutoyo standard, 1-inch. And then what's left in this box is just more good stuff, but nothing we really need to go through that. You know, there's reamers, there's end mills, there's little boring bars, there's a whole bunch of used various sized lathe tooling. I took every single one of these knobs, like adjustment knobs or like snugs, or whatever you want to call them. There's all kinds of nice ones here that I might find a tool or something that I have something missing and I want to Want to just put something more decorative on there. Here's even a really old knob. That looks almost like a knob, like off of a really old automotive or tractor, like light switch, dash switch or something. I don't know. But I figured, no, I might as well take it, since I could take whatever I wanted out of those boxes. Like, case in point, here's just a piece of brass round. Somebody started to make something out of it and then stopped, but that might be handy, or at worst it goes in the scrap pile, as does all of these brass fittings. I took every single one of these fittings here. Some like that with the barbed fitting on them I might be able to use. Some like this are probably just going to end up being trashed. Oh, there's another standard. Look at that, Brown and Sharp. Another lathe tool, grub screws, you name it, all kinds of stuff. Well, that's going to bring this to a wrap. I mean, that's plenty. It's probably already way too long of a video. Maybe I made it into a two-parter. I won't know until I go to edit all this. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, and also consider subscribing if you're not already a subscriber. Until next time, take care.